In this video, we're going to use a Post-it note or square piece of paper, and we're going to look at all the different ways to rotate and reflect that square piece of paper. So just follow along with me for right now. You want to get a Post-it note, and on the front of the Post-it note, I want you to write the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And be sure you write those numbers exactly like I have on my Post-it note. And then I want you to turn it over like a page in a book, and on the back of your Post-it note, put A, B, C, and D. And be sure you've labeled the corners just like I have. And I would encourage you to do this along with me and see if you can follow along. And if you're moving your Post-it note with me, I think it'll make a little bit more sense. So there are 4 rotations of this square piece of paper. And one of the ways you can rotate it is 90 degrees. So I'm going to call that R sub 90. This is the starting position, and a rotation of 90 degrees would look just like that. Now notice what I've done over here is I've recorded the numbers exactly as they appear on my Post-it note. When you see the postcard or the Post-it note in that position, you know it's a rotation of 90. Let's go back to our starting position. A rotation of 180 degrees, which I'm writing R sub 180, would mean rotate 90 and then another 90. And notice your Post-it note matches what I have right here on my notes. Go back to your starting position. We're going to do a rotation of 270 degrees now. There's 90, there's the 180, there's 270. Notice how my Post-it note, the 2 and the 3 are on the top, the 1 and the 4 in the bottom corners. And then lastly, we're going to start from our starting position and rotate the Post-it note 360 degrees. 90, 180, 270, 360, and you get right back to where you started. Additionally, you can reflect or flip your Post-it note. And there are 4 ways to flip the Post-it note. One is called a horizontal flip. So I want you to imagine the line of reflection right here horizontally. Starting from your initial position, you'll flip it between your fingers, and you should have the C and the D in the top corners, B and the A in the bottom corners. Let's go back to our starting position. You can do a vertical flip. This is the vertical line. Flipping it over, and you'll have an A and B in the top corners, D and C in the bottom corners. And then starting from the starting position, you could also do a diagonal flip. I'm going to call this a D sub L. A D sub L is a diagonal flip, but you grab the upper left-hand corner and the bottom right-hand corner and flip those 2 corners between your fingers, and you should have BC in the top, AD in the bottom. And starting from my starting position, a DR would be a diagonal flip going this way. The R means grab the upper right-hand corner. Flip the Post-it note between your fingers, and you should have the DA on the top and the CB on the bottom. Alright, if you understand that part, we're going to start combining rotations and reflections. And you'll notice that you have a chart that you've downloaded. And what do we do in this chart? It's like a big addition chart from elementary school, and you start combining all these transformations. So I'm just going to say we're going to add them together. This will be the first transformation, and up here will be the second transformation. So let's see if I can do one and give you a couple of examples. A rotation of 90 followed by another rotation of 90. My initial position, rotation of 90 followed by another rotation of 90. And if I look at my chart, I can see that that position matches with a rotation of 180 degrees. In other words, a rotation of 90 followed by another rotation of 90 is equivalent to a rotation of 180 degrees. I'm going to try, let's try a horizontal flip followed by a vertical flip. Let's see if we can figure out this one right in here. Go to your starting position. What I want to do is take my Post-it note and do the horizontal flip first, and follow that by the vertical flip. And what single transformation is that equivalent to? So I look on my chart, and I can see that when there's a 3, 4 in the top, that's equivalent to a rotation of 180 degrees. So I'm going to record R180. I'll try another one. How about, let's see, a horizontal flip followed by another horizontal flip. Get your Post-it note. Go back to your starting position. We'll do a horizontal flip followed by another horizontal flip. And what you noticed is you're back to where you started, which is the R360. Your task is to fill in this whole chart. And what I would encourage you to do is to work smarter, not harder. If you notice any patterns or any shortcuts, note your pattern, use your shortcuts, and you'll fill in your table a lot faster. And then later we'll go back and we'll talk about the underlying mathematics that's related to this activity.